What is good, everybody? It is South Bay Chris, and today I'm coming at you guys with another haircut tutorial. Today we're going to be taking off his curls and we're going to be bringing his hair down to wavelength. So we're going to be making it short on top so he can start brushing and getting waves. And right here we are putting the number 4 guard on top, and we are just gonna run that all over his head to cut down all those curls off and bring it down to wavelength. Now he has bigger curls, so therefore we're gonna keep it a little longer on top, like a 4 or a 5. If the curls were smaller, the shorter you can go. The bigger the curls, the higher you have to keep it. So right here we have the 4, and we are running it against the grain, going against the direction that the hair grows. And we are constantly combing and cutting so the hair can lay down nice. And this is going to be a high taper with the 4 on top and a lineup. And as you guys can see, I'm just going all over his head and multiple times, cutting in the same spot multiple times, going all over, make sure I lay it down all nice and even. Now right here we are starting the high taper bald guideline. So right there we put the bald guideline in right above the hook, and as you guys can see where I'm putting it in, that's where you put the guideline in for the high taper, and then we flip the trim around and we just bald that out right there. Make sure that your guidelines are very nice and neat so that the neat of your taper can come out. And now right here we're putting in the bald guideline in the back of the neck, as you guys can see right there. That's about how high I'm gonna go, right to we went a little bit higher in the middle just so it could be a little bit more bald in the middle and darker on the edges. And now right here on the side, you wanna stand in front of your client and then put in the guideline on the other side of the head, symmetrical with the first guideline that we put in on the other side of the head. So make sure that you stand in front of your client and just make sure that both guidelines are symmetrical, both bald guidelines are symmetrical. Now right here we have our shaver, and we are going up about ½ an inch before that line, and we're gonna flick out like right there. So this is the flick out motion. You go straight up and then you flick out, go straight up and flick out like right before that line. Don't go right to the line because it's gonna leave a harsh line that is hard to take out. So right where I ran that comb, that's where we flick out. Now right here we are using our 1.5 guard. This is the Gamma Clipper, the Gamma Ergo, and this is the 1.5 guard. This is the guard is equivalent to like the wall 1.5 guard. So if you're using like a wall, it's the same thing, the 1.5 guard. And we are creating our base. So as you guys can see, like those lines that I put right there, that is pretty much like the shape that you want to keep your base, about how high you want to go, right to like where that blue line is at. We bring it down towards the back so there could be more hair in the back of the head, and because this is a taper and not a fade. And right here we're just going over it, constantly combing and cutting, going over it multiple times, making sure that it's all even. And this is the 1.5 open. This is our base. We're creating our base. So right here we're on the other side of the head and doing the same thing. This is the shape that we're creating our base. Where you see that, where I put this blue line, that is the shape that we're keeping it. So it's a little bit higher towards this on the sides, and then it drops down towards the back slightly. And so this is we're going constantly combing and cutting. That was the 1.5 open. So that line right there, we are going to blend that out using clipper over comb. So this is the Oster clipper over comb. The size of this comb is thicker, so it's equivalent to that 1.5 guard open, that 1.5 guard open. It's equivalent to that because this Oster comb is equivalent to that 1.5 because it's a pretty thick comb. So I would recommend this comb for beginners because it won't take off as much hair. And pretty much this is the motion that you want to do in order for clipper over comb. You want to go straight up. So as you guys can see, I start at the bottom and then I go straight up. That's the motion. I put thumbs up because we want to go straight up. So we start under the line. You don't want to slant it in like that. How I'm saying no, you don't want to slant it in the comb like that because that'll take off too much hair. You want to go straight up just like that. So you start under the line and then you go straight up and then you cut. So as you guys can see how I did right there, and then I would cut it. I didn't cut it right there, but I'm gonna show you guys again right here how it looks from right here. So see how the comb is going straight up? That's how we want to do it. And then you just cut all the hairs that come off. And then once there's nothing left, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go too in. You don't want to slant it too in because that's taking off too much hair and that's changing the shape. If you go straight up, we keep a nice squared shape on the head. So right here, now we are cutting. We're making sure to go straight up and cut. go start the comb under the line and then go straight up, hold, and then cut. So as you guys can see right there, this is the motion of a clip over comb. This is how you do it properly in order to keep a nice squared shape on the head. So we go straight up and cut. Alright, now right here, as you guys can see, I'm using the tips of the clipper over comb, and we go straight up on the line, just past it, and then you could go straight up and down with the clipper as well, just to kind of soften up that line just a little bit more, detailed by doing that. And when you're cutting the bulk, that's when you kind of like at least swipe it side to side, like I'm doing right here. So right here, just to kind of like, so you could kind of like change up the way you cut with the clipper over comb just to kind of get a nice blend, just as long as you're holding the comb constantly nice and straight up and keeping a nice squared shape. And remember, this is the Oster clipper over comb. The size is equivalent to the 1.5 guard open. So this comb blends right into that 1.5 guard open. Alright, now right here, I'm going to create my first guideline after the ball guideline. So this is the blade open. It's equivalent to the half. The size is called the half, but it's also called the blade open. And this is our first guideline. We're making it about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And right there, as you guys can see, I kept that edge dark. We're gonna keep those edges dark so those edges can pop once we line them up, and the fade can pop as well. Now right here, this is how we're gonna blend out that first guideline. We're gonna go notch by notch. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we're gonna close the lever 4 times. If you don't have notches, we're gonna close the lever 4 times. And pretend that's the line right there. You start with the blade under the line, lay the blade flat on the skin, you go up past the line, and then you flick out. You don't want to dig in like that. You do not want to dig in. You don't dig in. You lay the blade flat, you go straight up past the line, and then you flick out, just like that. So we're going straight up, past the line, and then flick out. Straight up, past the line, flick out. That's how we blend. So you go straight up past the line, and then you flick out. Straight up, past the line, flick out. I'm going to constantly say that so that can embed in your guys' head. So we're going to close the lever one time, so that's 1 notch. And we're going straight up past that line and flicking out. Now we close it twice, so that's in the middle. Now we close it again. That's the 3rd time. We're going straight up, passing that line and flicking out. You can go lower and lower, little by little. And then now we closed it the 4th time. Now the blade is all the way closed. So we started with the blade all the way open, and now it's all the way closed. So then we closed it notch by notch, or 4 times, little by little. And we were just going straight up, passing that line and flicking out. Now right here, I have the 1.5 guard attached again. I'm kind of just cleaning up the base. And now we're going to, that last line that you see there, that's what we're going to blend out. So we're starting with the 1.5 guard open, what our base was. Now we close it, and this is the motion again. We're going, use that part of the guard that I'm pointing at, use that to your advantage, that little curve, that'll help you flick out. Now right here, we have the lever closed on the 1.5 guard, and we're softening up that line, going right under where we left off with the 1.5 guard open. This is the 1.5 guard close right here. We're softening up that line. Now from that 1.5 guard close, we're gonna blend down into the 1 guard open. So from the 1.5 guard close, we go into the 1 guard open, and same thing. We're just passing that line and flicking out. Like right here, I'm demonstrating. You pass the line, going straight up, and then you flick out. You lay the blades flat. You don't dig in. Lay the blade flat. Just pass the line and flick out. This is the number 1 guard open. We went from the 1.5 guard to the 1 guard, and this is what we are just constantly softening that line up. And we're going, so you constantly go over it, and just remember to flick out. That is how you blend. If you dig in, you're going to create a line. You have to flick out. Now we close the lever halfway. So with the 1 guard, we are only going to close it twice, halfway and then fully close. So we start open, we went halfway, and now right here we fully close that lever. And this is just softening up that line even more. And after this, it's going to be the half guard. And with the half guard, that's going to fully blend out that line that you see right there on that side taper. Alright, now we're going in, and I'm putting on my half guard, and I'm going to open up that lever fully open again. And with the half guard, that's when we're going to close it little by little again. We're going to close it a total of 4 times. or notch by notch until you're fully closed. If you have like a master, or if you have the ergo clipper, it comes out. They're being shipped in June, I believe, and you can pre-order them now. And then if you have like a wall clipper, which doesn't have notches, we're just closing it 4 times. So right here, I started with the lever open. I know it's a little blurry right there. I'm sorry guys, it's about to focus right now. But just know that was the lever open. And then as you guys can see, I closed it. So now we closed it 1 time. And now we close it again, that's in the middle. And here it's back on focus. So right here, we've already closed it twice. The lever is in the middle right now. And we are just going up, passing that line and flicking out. You pass that line that was right there and flick out. Now we closed it 3 times. And we are just passing that line, going right under where you just left off, pass that line and flick out. All right. And right here, we are using kind of like the corner of our blade to blend into like that edge right there. You want to soften that up too. And right here, we fully closed it. And now we are fully closed with the lever, and we're just, as you guys can see, that taper is pretty much like blended. And now we're just constantly going over it. Now we're just making sure that it has a full nice transition and getting any details that we see. And now right here, I'm putting some talc on my hand, on the top of my hand, and with the glove on, and I rub the trimmer. While the trimmer is on, I rub the trimmer side to side with a little bit of talc, just like sprinkles of the talc, not a whole lot of it. You rub the trimmer side to side on the talc, and then you tap the edge, and that's going to create like an ash line effect that allows your edge to pop, and then you're able to see the lines that you're putting in because of that white ash line effect. So you can make sure your edges are all symmetrical and nice and neat. And as you can see, that edge is popping because we left it darks and then faded it into the fade, and it looks like it's enhanced too, and it's not. And with that, and not using this talk trick, it helps just that edge pop, which is going to make your fade pop and allow you to see more details in the fade and just give a better overall haircut. And now right here, I have the blade open, and I'm kind of just like going in and detailing a little bit right there on that edge. Sometimes there could be like a little bit of a line right there, and you have to like just detail it a little bit and detail your fade. And this is just what's gonna separate you, and is what's gonna make you a overall good barber. And yeah, right here, pretty much just like I said, just constantly playing with the lever, opening it and closing it, taking out dark spots as I see. As you guys can see, he's right there smiling, the bro. And then right here we're putting we have the shaver, and now we're going to do the back taper. Now we have the shaver, we're balding out from the under the bald guideline, we're balding that out to skin. That's what the shaver does. And we're only going up. We're not going fully up to that bald guideline, remember that, because we don't want to create a harsh line. We flick out right before that. And now right here, we're creating our first guideline after the bald line, and this is the lever open, the blade open, no guard, just the blade open, and we're creating a guideline. When creating the guidelines, you can go straight up and down, because you're just creating a guideline, we're not fading at that point. Now right here, I'm kind of showing, I just showed how we're gonna close the lever little by little, and we're going to fade out that guideline. And right here, remember, this is the tactic that we're using to fade. There's a line right there. You start under the line, you go straight up and you pass it and you flick out. That is how we fade out lines. You start under the line, go straight up, pass it, and flick out. Now right here, we have the lever fully open, kind of just cleaning up that line. Alright, going straight up, passing it, and flicking out. Now we're gonna close it. Actually, my bad guys, the lever was closed once. Now we just closed it in the middle, so we closed it twice right here. And we're just going straight up, passing the line, and flicking out. And now we close it again. This is our third close, the third time closing it. And we're just going straight up, passing that line, and flicking out. And this is getting rid of that bald guideline into that first guideline with the lever open. So right here, we're just going straight up, passing the line, flicking out, and then we close the lever the fourth time. This is fully closed right here, and we're the same thing, just go straight up, pass the line, and flick out, go right under where you just left off. You don't go as high as you first started. Like by the time you're fully closed, you're just like barely passing the line and flicking out. And now right here, we have our 1.5 guard open, and now we're gonna blend out that last line that you see right there. That is, and we're gonna start, because this is what we created our base with, so we're just kind of cleaning that up again. And then now we close our lever. This is the 1.5, closed. And now we are going right under where we just left off, like right under where that base was created, and we're just softening up this line. And then we're gonna go to the 1, and then we're gonna go to the half guard, and then it's fully blended. So right here we have our lever closed with the 1.5 guard. The lever is closed, and we're just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out. And now we have our 1 guard open. So as you can see, I have the 1 guard, and this is open. So the 1.5 guard blends right into the 1.5 guard closed blends right into the 1 guard open. So it blends down into the 1 guard open. And we are just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out, going right under where we just left off with that 1.5. And we have the 1 guard open, going straight up, passing the line and flicking out, constantly softening it up, going over it and over it and over it, just to make sure that we get all the hairs nice cut down and cut down even. So if that's the line right there, I'm starting with the bottom of the line, go straight up and flick out as I showed right there. And now we close the lever halfway. So we had the 1 guard open. Now we closed it halfway. So this is the 1 guard halfway closed. Because with the 1 guard, you're gonna close it 2 times, halfway and then fully closed when blending down. So right here, same thing. You're just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out. And now right here, we close the lever. So the 1 guard is fully closed. We went 1 guard open, 1 guard halfway closed. Now the 1 guard is fully closed. And we are just going straight up, passing that line and flicking out, going right under where we just left off. Remember, we're not going as high as we were with the 1.5 when we started blending down. You go lower and lower, little by little. And now we have our half guard attached. So we're gonna close the half guard little by little, as I showed right there. We're gonna close it a total of 4 times. Right here it is open, and we are just we have the lever open, and now we closed it. We closed it 1 notch or 1 time, and we're just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out. Remember, so that is the motion. Just go straight up, pass the line, and flick out. And now we're going to close it halfway. Right here, going straight up, passing the line and flicking out, going right under where we just left off. I know I'm kind of sounding repetitive, but the more you guys hear it, the more it's gonna embed in your brain, and the better you're gonna get at it. And I closed it again right there. That was the 3rd time closing it. And as you can see, that back taper is coming out. We're just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out, going right under where we just left off. And now we are fully closed. This is the 4th time closing it. And like I said, we're just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out. And as you can see, that taper is pretty much blending out. So right here, I'm fully closed, and I'm just blending, like just going straight up, passing the line and flicking out. Now right here, we're going to put in the side edges of the taper, the edges right around the ear. And this is what's gonna make that back taper look really nice and pop. This is like one of the most important parts. So right here, I have my trimmer, and I am rubbing it, the talk trick, like I showed earlier, the talk on my hand, and I rub the trimmer while it's on. And I am combing those hairs down with the comb. And then I just cut it, like making sure that the lines are nice and straight, nice and smooth, nice and even. They're not all jaggedy. And right here, going above the ear, we're using that right corner of the blade. And as you can see, my finger right there, you can kind of put like your finger there too if you need like a stabilization. But use that corner of the blade like a pencil, and you just draw that arc, like just take your time with it, draw that real nice arc right over the ear, and be very, very light with it, because that is a very, very sensitive part of the head. Right behind that ear is very sensitive, so be very light right there, and just take your time and just draw it nice and precise. Be very light, go over it multiple times. You gotta go over these lines multiple times. You gotta constantly comb and cut, just so you can make sure that you get all the hairs. Now right here, I am applying some curl mousse, and this is gonna lay down the hair. So we're gonna blow dry it, and we're gonna use a wave brush to brush down his hair. And because his hair is curly hair doesn't really, like, when you first lay it down, it doesn't really want to lay down. When you first cut it down, you have to, like, it gets all frizzy, it sticks up, it curls up. So you have to, like, really brush it, and it has to get used to being brushed down. It when it's long and curly, it's not gonna be used being brushed down right away. So barbers, you can put the curl mousse and then you just blow dry the hair going straight down, and going in all directions of the head, getting it nice and dry, and this will lay down the hair real nice, and yeah, just make your cut overall better, make your cut look cleaner for the pics. And now right here we have the 1.5 guard, and the lever is open on the clipper, and we are going down with the grain right there on the front hairs in the lineup area, just to bring those hairs down and cut them down a little shorter so it can be easier to line up. And now we are going in with our trimmers. As you can see, I combed those hairs down, and I didn't apply any hairspray because the hairspray is gonna hold the hairs real tight. It's not gonna really put them in the natural position. We want the hairs to be in the as natural position as possible, because if you apply hairspray and then they go and wash their hair later on, you might have stragglers hanging over the lineup. And this way, with no hairspray, just the natural hair, you can comb the hairs constantly and comb and cut, and that's gonna give you a real nice lineup, and later on there won't be hairs hanging over that lineup. So as you can see, we started in the middle and we made our way to the left side, and now we are making our way to the right side. So with lineups, you want to start in the middle of the lineup and then make your way to one side and then match up the other side, so you can make sure that they are nice and symmetrical and nice and even. And right here, I'm still constantly combing and cutting, and I'm going over that right corner and just going over it multiple times to make sure I get the most precise lineup as possible, and make sure that it's nice and crisp and that there are no hairs hanging over the lineup. And like I said earlier, it's a constant cut, tap and comb motion, tap and comb motion. Like, you gotta constantly tap and comb. And right here we are applying semi-permanent color enhancement. This is Kiss Express, and we're using the air gun to spray it onto the lineup and onto the edges. And this is pretty much gonna make the edges pop that much more. It's gonna make them look real good. It's gonna fill in the edges real good, and if there's any light spots in the lineup, it will fill that in. He doesn't really have any light spots, but people that do have light spots, you can use this to fill it in, and it will last a few days, depending on how hard you wash it. If you don't wash it, it could last like a week. But if you it won't come off with sweat, it won't come off with water unless you really rinse it and use soap. And now right here we are using the razor, and we are razoring to the line, and we want to hold the razor not at a straight down angle, but kind of flat, not too flat, but you're kind of like, and you're pulling the skin and you're just gliding the razor. You're gliding the razor to the edges, making sure that you get every little stubble, and making sure that you're going against the grain with the razor. Go against the way the hair is growing, so you can make sure you get it nice and smooth. And now right here we are on the back of the neck, and I didn't show myself razoring that back edge of that back taper. So make sure you razor that back line on the back taper, razor to that line to make sure you get it nice and crisp and nice and smooth around that edge, and it could just make that taper pop that much more. And now right here we're going back in with our trimmers after razoring. I always finish my cuts with it after I always use a trimmer at the end after I razor it, just to make sure I get any more stragglers that hang over the edges, and make sure I get a nice crisp lineup that pops. And I'm also rubbing the trimmer on the talk on my hand like earlier, and this is giving me, like I said, like that ash line effect that is gonna be real nice for the pictures and the videos and things like that. And now right here we have our clipper again. This is the ergo. The blade is really close, so if we close it, it cuts really close. And we glide with the lever closed. We are gliding over the hairs and going with the grain in the direction that the hair grows, and that's gonna cut all the stragglers. So we are going with the grain, going all around the head in the direction that all the hairs grow. And because there is gonna be frizz, this is gonna knock down all that frizz over all the hairs laying down. It's gonna knock down all that frizz and just make everything pop. This is key. Like, these are details that your clients notice, that people notice, that make your cuts look so much better. Like, this is, you gotta go over the top of that head. And right here, like I said earlier, I'm just going in, back in any little spots on the lineup that I may see. I'm just kind of like, I want everything to look as perfect as possible for the pictures, for the videos. I wanted to, remember, this is your work. People are gonna see this, like, be very, very detailed. So as you can see, I'm rubbing the trimmer on my hand with talc, with just sprinkles of talc, not a lot of talc. And then you while the trimmer is on, you tap the lines, and it's gonna create like that, like, white ash line effect. You don't want it to be too thick. You want it to be kind of like a skinny white ash line effect. That's gonna make everything look make the edges look real nice, and just make the fade pop that much more, and make the cut look that much better. And now right here we're cleaning up the back of the neck with the trimmer. Go take off, unloosen the cape, and get all the little neck hairs on the back of the neck. And right here we are dusting off our client. Make sure to dust off your client before any pictures. A lot of barbers just starting, I see, don't really dust off their client for the pictures, guys. Make sure you dust off your client for videos or pictures, and before they leave the chair. And this is the finished taper, guys. This is the cut. This is the back taper right there. I just showed the front taper, and now this, check that out. So we got that side taper, and we got that back taper looking hella fresh. Like, it's pretty clean, isn't it? And that lineup is nice and symmetrical, nice and straight. And yeah, this is the cut, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. I appreciate you guys. I'm out.